a very simple way to get the tool offset for Mach3 turn. Very simple by using multimeter or voltmeter. I have in a chuck right now a piece of nylon, 6-6 nylon, which is pretty hard material, and brass bushing on end of it, pressed in place and machined. Right now we have tool number 1 in ready to go. Before we do that, we're gonna home the machine and get it ready to do that. For the video sake, we're gonna do just the x-axis homing, and then from there we're gonna do a skim cut. So let's start with it and go from there. So let's start homing. Tool number 1 is my master tool, which is normally I use it to start with and take measurement and enter that value in my Mach3. So we're gonna do get it close, and we're gonna take a skim cut. We're gonna do facing and skim cut. So anyway, here we go. And now we're going to enter the Z value as a part 0. And we're going to take a skim cut. Just enough to clean make sure it's all cleaned up. would be very nice if we clean the edge on it. We're not gonna chamfer it, we're just gonna take the fuzz out of it. So let's start it and do that. It's important that all parts are clean and no shavings in there or magnetics that holding the chips on the end of the bit or any of that. So it will be really nice if you the more patient by doing that. When you do that and more clean you are, is the more accurate you are. So right now we're gonna start doing getting the voltmeter out and hook up the leads so we can do the setup. So right now we're gonna put the voltmeter on and we're gonna go on, check the resistance, and we're gonna make sure that everything's working. If we touch them it should make a sound, which is we're doing good. So we're gonna connect one lead to the post and the other lead to the brass bushings. Make sure we're not gonna run the spindle from this point up. So all what we're doing is make sure that the tip of the tool touch that piece of metal we got. But before we do any movement, we need to take the measurement for the diameter for the parts that we have and enter it in Mach3 in parts diameter. Double check that number again, make sure we're doing good. 1.490. 1.490. Enter. Double check. 1.49. Very good. Now from here we're gonna just simply touch the face of the parts. We need to go to tool table and insert tool number 1 on there. So we have tool number 1 now in tool table, and we're gonna move around until we touch the X and the Z, but one at a time. We're gonna start on a Z since we're closer. We can repeat that again. And now we're gonna tell the machine that we have tool number 1, we touch Z. We're gonna back it out, and we're gonna back out and touch the diameter area. until we touch an X. Back out and ready to go to tool number 2. Tool number 2, in my case, it's just a threading tool. It's very simple, and so we're gonna align the point to the edge, and we're gonna do touch on that. And this is, we're gonna tell it Z touch. After we change the tool in Mach3 number 2, and we're gonna tell it Z touch. Now we're gonna do the same thing, bring it a little bit deeper in, and we're gonna do the same thing. And we can repeat that if you want. When it starts to touch, it sometimes it's touched just enough, but does not physically allow full current to go through. So continue until you hear solid buzzer sound. That means it's really touching. So, and now we're gonna tell it X touch. Now we're gonna go to tool number 3. My tool number 3 is a cutoff tool. So we're gonna use my 0, 0 location is this point right here on the edge, on the end of my cutting tool, which is on this side here. This is my 0, 0 location on my cutting tool. So I'm gonna do the outside touch using a piece of flat shim, and then we'll touch the outside of it, or the diameter on the shaft. So we're gonna put this around here, and oops, okay, we're gonna put this. We use a filler gauge to do that. Just any flat surface will do, and what we're gonna do is hold it against the edge over here and all the way out, and bring the tool to it until it touch. And now we're gonna bring it back until it touch. And touch there, and that's gonna be my Z touch. And X touch is just bring it down a little bit and let it go forward. On Z, let it touch. Very good. And now that's X touch tool number 3. Now we're gonna use we're gonna go to tool number 5, and tool number 5 is a boring bar in my case. So we'll put the boring bar in, and I got a little tiny filler gauge, very soft filler gauge. So you should be able to see the inside it, the thickness of it, and spring on it. And I'll put it around my part, then I push it in place, and that will make sure that it's both sides are in parallel or 90 degree or sitting flat on my surface. Now I can touch the inside of the filler gauge, and that will give me the X touch for my boring bar. Then we'll do the Z after that, or you can do the Z first, either or. And that's X touch. Now we're gonna do Z touch. And keep going to all of your tools until you're ready to go. And that's the majority of the tools right now I'm going to be using. This is a very simple and accurate way of doing things. It's not the only way, but this is one of the ways you can do things. It's important that what you do when you bring it back in, to bring it to a certain distance and measure that distance, or use a filler gauge, or you can do a rough cut and measure the results. And in your tool table you can adjust the wear on that, or micro adjust the distance, that if it's off a little bit you can tune it back. You could go back to your tool table and adjust it, adjust it where you want it to be. The most important thing is to be, when you do that, is be careful, be patient, and be safe doing this. Make sure the spindle doesn't run when the voltmeter on, and all the important safety stuff. So anyway, take care. Thank you.